I want to talk about the box office. We kind of have adjusted numbers in for Jurassic World. So Universal is reporting that Jurassic World now holds the title of the biggest domestic opening weekend of all time, with 208.8 million over 2012's Avengers 207.4 million. Also, internationally, it also broke records with 315.6 million, which beats WB's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which had $314 million. Christian, what do you think about this?
This thing is a beast, pun intended. I was talking about it yesterday. I think that and I was listening to you guys on the show yesterday too. What it is also about this movie is that, and it's similar to what's going to be happening with Star Wars. You got Jurassic Park, which is a movie that changed effects. It changed the way we looked at movies in general, and the sequels were subpar. They were not good. There was something about this movie, Jurassic World, that brought back that hope that you were going to see a movie like that again, because it took place in a park and it wasn't just some kind of a lackadaisical sequel. And there was something about it, like it had, and even for Colin Trevorrow's mentioning of it in interviews, was like, we're going to honor what came before us. And then the trailers came out with the music. So I think people really started to feel that nostalgia again, and that was the point. And it showed in the numbers, but to this magnitude is crazy. No one would have, first of all, guessed that it would have made 200 million, but to beat the Avengers, wow. Also, going off your Star Wars conversation yesterday, it's going to be very hard for them to do that in December, because people who are living in the very cold, it's hard, and storms and stuff, keep people away from the theaters. So that's going to be an obstacle that Star Wars is going to have to deal with. But as far as this movie goes, man, it's shocking that it's the number one of all time.
Yeah, it was a big surprise for me. I mean, I thought, $130 million, but over 200, now the number one biggest box office opening of all time. It's completely shocking. For me, it's kind of the opposite of, we talked about Entourage. Like, that movie kind of came out a year too late, maybe 2 years too late, and it was one of those things where they needed to get it out sooner. This actually benefited from kind of more of the absence makes the heart grow fonder, where we had the third one came out, I think, in 2001. So it's 2002 or something like that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a while back. So it's been like 13 years since then. And so I think that actually helped, because it's like, okay, people didn't really care much for the two sequels. I mean, some people saw them, but you're right. People wanted to recapture that magic. And I think seeing this new Jurassic World coming out, they kind of had that awe again. And so that's why, I mean, even that still doesn't explain it to me why it crossed those numbers, but still, I think that's part of it.
You know what? I think that what it is that Jurassic World delivered on what Jurassic Park promised. Jurassic Park promised a park filled with dinosaurs, and that's what we all wanted. But it was like, obviously, it never happened, because it's too dangerous, shut it down. And then it's hidden, they're growing other things. And then the third one, look, there's a pterodactyl. So they never opened the park. This one, they opened the park. And you see a giant creature eat a Jaws. You're like, oh my God, like that's what I want to see. And that's honestly one of my favorite parts of Jurassic World, was the sequence where the park is open and you're getting the chance to see all these things. You have a petting zoo with Triceratops. I mean, I was a giant dinosaur fan when I was a little kid, and I still love dinosaurs. So that this movie really did it for me, as far as like they show dinosaurs the way that you want to see dinosaurs. And then, you could have some qualms with the Indominus Rex. It's not real or whatever. But, that's part of the whole Jurassic Park thing, is like them putting cells together and genes together and splicing things and playing God. So.
And I think that's ultimately how people have to look at it, and how people are looking at it, is that this movie is a really fun monster movie. That's really what it is. You can't compare it to the first one for sure. It's different, but it reminds me, if you've ever gone to Universal Studios and there is a Jurassic Park ride, this felt like that ride, to where you do the nostalgia, the music. It's a bit silly at times, but overall, I think that people went in, and that's why those Universal Studio parks do so well. And those that line is so big, because, like you said, Schnepp, people wanted to see that park. What was that park? And then you put one of the biggest movie stars on the planet in it right now, coming off of Guardians last year as well. There's a lot to add to it, because someone yesterday is like, they couldn't have spent that money and put Jai Courtney in there. That movie would have made $70 million opening weekend. But overall, it's nice.
Christian Harloff, part of the Jai Courtney fan club.
Club.
I run it.
I think the president.
I'm gonna run it into the ground.
Well, you mentioned Star Wars. I still think it's going to break it's going to break all records.
It's gonna be hard though.
It'll become the #1 opening film of all time. It doesn't matter that it's opening at Christmas. It's got snow troopers.
Yeah, so they can make it out and help people get to the theater.
Exactly. You said Chris Pratt. I say snow troopers. So
it's just so hard weather-wise. I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
it's
it
tough.
really keeps being weather-wise, shopping and all that type of stuff.
Family,
Yeah.
everything. Really.
everybody wants to see this new Star Wars movie.
I know, but that's the thing. It also is in such a great real estate as far as being in December and into January. Now it only has like Olympus or London is Falling that's going to have to compete with, and a few other things here and there. It's going to own January. People know that they can go see it throughout a lot of time. So I don't know. It's another conversation.
But it's also got Han and Luke and Chewie.
Listen, everyone's going to see the movie. It's just a matter if they all see it that weekend.
They're going to have to because I don't want it spoiled.
I'm hoping you're right. I hope it makes $1 billion opening weekend.